Hi, this is Tina Lorenz, and I'm out here at sunrise in Tucson, Arizona, and I have a question for you today. Are you alone at Christmas? Is it not like the Hallmark movie Christmas at your house? That's what we're dealing with here as well. And so I wanted to talk to you about that today because what I realize is instead of chasing after trying to create some kind of an artificial sense of it has to be this way because it's a holiday, it's a major event. Ron and I are by ourselves. We're here alone this Christmas, and we made a decision that we were just going to keep things really simple. And honestly, part of that was probably driven by a little bit of depression about the whole thing. And so I really had to kind of work through our thoughts about that and how we're dealing with that. And then it's like you have to look up and look out away from the inner messaging that you're giving yourself, the old messages, the things that say, I must have failed somewhere along the way, or I must have done something wrong that my family isn't gathering for a beautiful Christmas together. And realizing that what it's really about, and this isn't a channel about religion or politics or anything like that, but what it's really about is the light, being the light, seeing the light, living in the light. And if that light connects all of us, if you believe in kind of the quantum field of how we're all connected at some level, that we can experience that through the light. And I thought, what better time to talk about that than when we see this beautiful light that we have every morning here in Tucson, Arizona, that we have so much gratitude for this piece of property. This wall you see right here is only part of the property. It goes on beyond that. There's a whole story about how that wall got built in the first place when someone tried to steal some land behind us before we ever lived here and placed a property line to their advantage. And then it was discovered not realistic and not honest. And so there's a barbed wire fence beyond this. And so we have still another whole area of this property that one of my dreams to develop that further for a walking path and that type of thing. But let's talk about the holiday, because I realized when I was sitting with this quietly and just thinking about this, of how would I share this with you? What would we want to talk about with this? First of all, if you're feeling some of that feeling of aloneness, and maybe you're alone in a crowd, maybe you're alone in a big giant family, and you just crave some peace, some real sense of who you are in that, what your responsibilities are. Let's sit together here for a few minutes today. Let this be your refuge. Let this be your sanctuary, your place of peace. Because I realize how inside our home and out, it's very important to me to create light. And I'm going to share a little clip here inside this video of one of my morning routines right now, because we have a lot of Christmas decorations. We've had years where we had 4 different trees decorated in the house. And this year we came very close to saying none at all. But we have this tree, it's called a Twinkly, that's the brand, and it's covered with little tiny lights that you can create a pattern. There's an app on your phone, and you can create a pattern of light. And so we decided, let's just put that tree up. And there's a timer on it, so it comes on by itself at 5:15 every morning. It goes off by itself at 10:15 every night. And it just does this array of lights. And also our fireplace. I love our fireplace. One of the first things we did when we bought this house is about 40 years old. And it was a sad house when we first started looking at it. Empty, sad. It had a sad story from a couple and what had happened in their marriage. And we came and sat here, out here in this backyard, many times before we bought the house. And it didn't look like this at all. There was nothing here. It was just bare. The wall was here, but it was white and crusty looking. And we saw a vision for what could happen with this place. And one of the first things they did inside the house was the fireplace was dingy, stucco, Southwest style, and I had it muraled. And you're seeing now what it looks like. I love our fireplace. And yes, it's an electric fireplace. We don't burn wood here. And we just turn it on. It heats the room, makes a beautiful glow. And so that's part of our routine. So if your Christmas feels more like a cup of hot chocolate than lots of Christmas carols and giant meals, that's what's happening here. So I got my favorite hot chocolate, had to order it online, got one flavor of mint and also raspberry. And so I alternate between those, put some whipped cream on the top, have the fire on and the tree on, and feel the light. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. And so coming out here, I think, how blessed are we when people are dealing with snowstorms and blizzards and torrential rains and flooding and so many things. And we have this beautiful space to just enjoy and feel that spirit of the season. You know, it's not easy when you have family that has decided to be estranged from you. And I hinted at that a little bit yesterday. I'm going to go very gently because I have never talked about it in public, ever. Only with my husband, only with my other adult child have we discussed what in the heck has happened here. But it leaves us alone here in Tucson and finding peace in that. Finding, is there even a blessing in it in a way? And blessing that individual, blessing that part of the family, and just really leaving it up to some greater power beyond myself as far as any kind of healing of that. Because sometimes you just have to let go. You just have to let go and accept what is. We can choose not to do that. We can choose the suffering, we can choose the depression, we can choose the sadness. And I'm not saying not to acknowledge that because it's real and our feelings are there for a reason. But putting it in perspective of whose issue is this really, and knowing I can't fix it. I've done many things over the years to try and fix it. And I had to grow into understanding that releasing it, blessing it and releasing it was the only thing I could do, and leaving that path open, but not trying to force anything. So Christmas is a couple of days away. So what are we doing? We have the light. We have a house that's gently illuminated at night. We love that. We feed the birds. You're probably seeing some of them coming and going behind me. We have a big block of seed on the wall and we make sure they're well fed. And we have trail cameras. I'll be sharing some of that with you. We've set up 2 trail cameras on the back of our property. And we have such an amazing array of wildlife that strolls right on the other side of this wall almost every single night. We have javelinas. If you don't know what those are, I'll be showing them to you in a future video, but they're actually peccaries. Some people think that they're some type of pig, but they're actually considered a peccary. So they think of like a hairy looking pig. They're pretty big. They can run very fast. And we've had as many as 19 of them. I don't know if they're called a herd or a pod or a family or a gaggle or what a group of javelinas is called. But the other night I captured through 4 different videos, 19 of them moving across the back of the property together. We have coyotes. Do you say coyote or coyote? It's like niche and niche, right? What serves your purpose? I was never a cartoon kid, but I do remember there's a cartoon called Wile E. Coyote, and it wasn't called Wile E. Coyote. And so I say coyote. And we have a lot of them, and sometimes we hear a whole pack of them howling, barking, making all their vocalizations at night. It's eerie. And we have a rooster that lives down the street, so sometimes you might hear a rooster crowing if I'm doing a video outside in the morning. And we also have bobcats, and we've had them come through the property. I'll be sharing that with you in the future as well. We have bobcats that's come and laid by the pool for hours one day and just hanging out here in the back. And we have our plants. We love our plants. And it was an adjustment moving to this part of Arizona, because we, for a long time, had a place in Yuma, and Yuma is really warm all through the winter, and it's warm here too. But where we are, this location, our beautiful acre, is at the Seven Falls Trailhead. And if you look up Seven Falls in Tucson, you'll see it's a very famous hiking trail. People come from all over the world to hike it, and we live right by the trailhead. That means there's a wash back there that has water running in it part of the year, and that means colder temperatures sometimes in the morning. And so we had to adjust it. It's actually very unseasonably warmer this year, that we've had mornings where there's frost all over everything, the fountains are frozen, ice dripping from all the water on our fountains turned into icicles. But then it warms up within just a few hours. But we do have to do a different way of having plants here because of that. There's some things that just can't handle those occasional dips into freezing that we get here. And we've even had snow here a couple of times. It only lasts for a day, part of a day. But this year we might get a little rain. But what we get mostly is what you see right here. And we appreciate it every single day. And we feel so fortunate. And this property, the nature here, the naturalness. I'm listening to see if that's hear that? I don't know if you can hear that. There's some coyotes howling right this minute. The beautiful nature that we have here. We never take it for granted. I've pushed hard in my business, and there's been days where I'd be working all day long and not even come out the back door and look at this. And that's just a crime, really. And I wanted to remember to say this today, because I've already had a little epiphany just from doing the video I did yesterday. Because I talked about in that, I said, who has time for this? I don't have time for this big, long plan. There's an urgency. And I know it came across that way in the video, that there was an urgency. And as I was thinking about it this morning, I was like, wait a minute. Here's a lesson for me already from sharing this with you. Slow the heck down. And realizing how hard that has been for me to do. And what if this season, this holiday season that's traditionally packed full of frantic activity, frenetic shopping, stressed out people think I have to get all these things done by Thursday or whatever. What if I meant to learn something from this slowing down, this allowing? What if? And I'm already going to adjust a little bit what I'm saying to you today. We have time. And I'm going to learn that right along with you. Maybe you already know it and are way ahead of me on this. But really, all we really have is now. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed to anyone. And even as I say these words, they're already past. They've already gone. They're already coming to you in this format on YouTube. But they're not the now. This moment is now. And that's all any of us have. And so what if we can just take a deep breath and be present for it, instead of thinking ahead to what we don't have, instead of lamenting what we wish could be. I've had a lot of years to begin learning to let go of the imaginary image of what I thought a family would be for me, to make up for the family that I didn't have growing up, what wasn't happening. I thought, I'll create that. And then get the big surprise of finding out no matter how hard I worked at doing just that, there was still a problem, one I can't control. And so what choice do I have, either to live with sadness or live with acceptance, live with inner peace, live with gratitude, live with the light. Embracing the light, and the sun's coming up now, you're probably seeing the light change, because nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. And I'm feeling the warmth of the light as the sun is coming up. Our days are shorter right now in winter. In the summer, it's light like this at 4:30 in the morning. Now it's probably 7-ish, I don't even know. I usually don't wear a watch. But I just wanted to say, what is something that you can do? Are you alone during this holiday? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I'd love to answer your questions if you have questions about this. And I'd love for you to find that moment of peace. What is one thing you can do today, a few days before Christmas, to find that peace, to find that light? Maybe it's actually lighting a candle. Maybe it's a fire in your wood stove or your fireplace. Or we have our fire pit. Ron insisted that he come out and light it for me to come out and do this video this morning, and it helped keep me warm. Also, it's a little chilly. I feel better already just talking to you. And I would love to hear back from you of what one thing are you choosing to do today to bring that light into your life, to share that light with someone else, to be a light. If I can be a light for even one of you, if anything I do sheds a light on a pathway for you, or you see something that maybe you've forgotten, let's remember who we really are, what we really are, where we really come from, the stardust, the energy, the divinity, that inner wisdom, that gift that's there for all of us. But it's so easy. We're so trained to react a certain way, to expect certain things, to behave a certain way. And what if we could just allow that core to be what guides us, the heart, the soul, and to find that joy, to find that peace, and to know no matter what, we're okay. We can be more than okay. Because honestly, it might surprise some people to know I'm an introvert. The other day, we have a long driveway, and I was walking down the driveway to go to the mailbox, and I saw someone walking. We have a very quiet neighborhood. And I saw someone walking, and you know what I did? I turned around. I went over and looked at a cactus and examined a tree and paused because I didn't want to have any conversation. I just didn't want to. And maybe that's okay, you know? Or maybe it says something about me. Not entirely sure here, but the truth of the matter is, I am finally, I wouldn't call this retiring. It is a refiring. It's a recalibrating, a reconnoitering, a rebooting, a restructuring, what's another word for this? Remembering who we really are, who I really am, who I've been from the moment I came into life on this planet, and being able to move past who other people thought I was or should be or never could be, and moving into my own brilliance. And I'm going to use that word because you have it as well. That's the light, the brilliance of the light. So let's join together, because I believe in when one or more are gathered, and we can do it virtually, let's gather together with the intention of having that light fill us through this holiday season, without any other expectation other than to find that place of peace within, the gratitude, and we make a conscious decision to experience gratitude, to experience seeing what's really going on all around us when we step out of the noise and the expectations and just allow ourselves to be. Because you know what? We're not done yet, and it's never too late. This is Tina Lorenz. I want to thank you for being here with me today. I can't wait to see your comments. I hope I get a bunch of them. I really would love to hear from you, your thoughts about this, or what you might be struggling with. And if I can help in any way, if I can serve you in any way with these simple videos, then I feel the joy of that as well. So thank you. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye for now.